Goodness.
You guys voted me in.
Tracy Holden.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Jacksonville Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. We'll go ahead and get this meeting started. Everyone received the agenda and the minutes in email. Everybody get a chance to review them? Okay, any changes? Can I get a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Agenda is presented.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, we'll move right along. New business, old business.
So we have in here member comments, because we have Mr. Ross has made me aware he'd like to put forth a comment or a statement to the group. Mr. Ross, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I think everyone knows by now the passing of Ken Hagan, who was the former director of our Parks and Recreation and former city manager also. And Ken and I go way back. I was appointed as a probation officer and assigned to Onslow County in 1972. And I had done some Little League baseball when I was in high school. And I had taught school for a couple of years, and I had done some high school ball and some Little League ball. So 1973 came rolling around, and I saw an article in the paper that the New River Association was hiring umpires. So I thought it said to go to Jack Amiette. So off I go. Didn't know anybody. Didn't even know where Jacksonville was, really, until I got appointed. But anyway, I went to Jack Amiette, and this guy came out, and I introduced myself, and he said, I'm Ken Hagan. He said, I'm assistant director. I said, I'm Bill Ross. I'm here to New River. It's just my understanding New River Association is asking for umpires, and I was going to apply. He said, well, you've come to the wrong place. He said, they're somewhere down the road, and I turned, got ready to walk out. He said, wait a minute. He said, I'm looking for umpires. I said, I'm your man. And 28 years later, that's what happened. So it's really important time. So by mistake, I started this relationship with Ken, obviously, and it was a wild ride. We had a lot of good times, but one episode in particular that I was behind the plate, and I had a guy that was my scorekeeper, and he was out there every night. Of course, he was paid by the county or city, by the way, and I always told him, I said, you watch me. I said, if I get blocked out or somebody acts funny, or if there's a problem, I said, you yell to me and let me know. And I said that, and I always depended on him. So one night I was out there behind the plate, and I noticed there's a lot of whispering going on, and I said, what's going on? I leaned back. This was in the middle of the game. He said, Ken Hagan's here. I said, what's he doing out here? He said, well, he's out here. I said, okay. So the inning was over. Everybody was changing sides. Well, here comes Hagan out on the field to see me. I said, what are you doing with me? I said, well, nice to see you and everything. He said, well, I came out here to tell you you're slow. I said, well, I called myself, I've never had anybody call me slow. I said, I've been called stupid, a lot of names. A lot of different names, most of them not good, but anyways. And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? He said, you need to speed things up. We're taking too long. I said, well, Ken, I like to talk to the fans. I said, everybody's happy, everybody's getting along good. I said, nobody's trying to hurt anybody. I said, things are going good. He said, no, you need to speed things up. So I said, okay, I'll speed things up. So I told my catchers, got to know my catchers pretty well. I said, we need to move along. He said, why? I said, well, you the man here said, you got to speed up. I said, so he said, okay, so we got going. And of course, I watched him drive out of that ball field as soon as he left, we went back to normal. So I never heard anything more about that from Ken, so I guess everything worked out. But anyway, I'd just like to say a few things. For those of us who worked with him and worked for him, that he made us all a better person. He was just a fantastic guy. And I think he set the gold standard for all of us. He set the example for us all. And I think it's a good time to have a discussion by this committee to recognize him for all his, for everything he was able to accomplish for the city and the county, and that he made Jacksonville a better place to call home. So that's the purpose, that we could do something to recognize his name for the athletic department, Parks and Rec.
And you had a specific idea, did you not?
Well, I think it would be nice to name a building, a part of a building or something like that to recognize him for all the work he's done.
One of the things that came up was, possibly looking at the commons or some part of the commons. And of course, the commons itself, the whole neighborhood is the commons. It's Commons Loop. It's a huge group. It's not just a piece. It's not one building. It's a whole complex. So changing the name of the entire complex would be probably pretty challenging. But one of the things that we had discussed maybe would be appropriate would be perhaps when you go into the commons, right above the door, there is, the Ken Hagen Auditorium at the Commons. Oh. So naming the interior for him instead of the entire complex. That way it doesn't cause confusion and we don't have to worry about some of the challenges of that big of a change would be. Right. But naming, that very well-known, very well-used, often seen piece,
What's the process?
Well, they're running it up the flagpole. There was, we were, is there a policy? Is there not a policy? What does the policy say? So I talked to Lorna, our city attorney, and she has done some digging, and it looks like there are two potential pathways forward. Both seem very favorable. I don't think we're going to run into a problem if the committee decides we'd like to take this forward and move it. It's just a question of which form do we fill out and which path do we take? And she said, if you just give me a little time to figure out which one is the right one, we can, move this forward when the committee's ready to bring it. So that was her only request.
This would come from the committee, nothing from the, because I didn't know if the council was going to do anything.
Well, it's either going to come from this committee back to this committee, or it's going to from this committee go to council. And we're not sure which path it needs to go based on how the UDO is written, because there's two sets of rules and there's a little bit of gray area. So she's going to vet out which path would be the legally sound path to take, and then that's the way we'll pursue it. If the committee is in agreement, that would be a great thing to do. And I think it's Ken's legacy. I wasn't even here for all of it, or I was here, but I was unaware of a lot of it, until after the fact. But it's just, he's done an awful lot in recreation.
Yeah, well, I know for sure Ken has touched many folks
many lives
in Jacksonville and County, so it'd be very appropriate for us to move something like that.
Would it be asking too much to have that by our next meeting, to have that?
I don't think so at all. We almost had it today, but she ran into a little confusion, so she said, just give me a little more time. So.
Okay, so do we need to go ahead and vote on this, or do we need to wait till the next meeting?
I think a consensus is enough. We don't need an official vote. I think if we have consensus that we all agree this is a good thing to do, we'll take that consensus to the attorney and let her figure out which path to take.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other ideas about what?
So maybe have a motion made that we look to move forward with some sort of naming rights, and that way it's in the minutes through a motion, you take a vote on it, and that way.
Do we have more than one area in mind, so that if they say not that, but this? I mean, sometimes there's different rules for different.
I think the process, I would say, would be to get the motion and let them lead us from there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Let them lead us. This is the way to get the process started, and then, as Councilwoman Edwards was saying, which pathway and how we go, let the experts tell us that, because we don't know.
I make a motion that we submit the paperwork to make the auditorium named after Ken Hagen.
Okay.
I second.
Any discussion? All right.
Can we also find out what do you know what's currently named down in that area now?
Richard Ray.
Well, we have Richard Ray inside the buildings. We do have the large room in our adult center is the Choate Room. Mm-hmm. That was after the Mayor Choate when the building was built. So there's, we call that the choke room. And then obviously, we do refer to ball fields as Rotary fields. They're the youth
They're
or
named
ball
after,
fields.
they're actually Rotary Fields, the
Right.
youth field. So
Rotary Youth Fields, those are named, and then we have Richard Ray. Obviously, we have other parks, Phillips Park, Joe Morgan Field. So depending on if the question, you want to talk about outdoor and the facilities or like the fields versus indoors, the only indoor one that we have, it would be obviously Jack Amiette, and then the Choate Room.
In Kerr Street,
Oh, I'm sorry, Kerr Street,
J.T. Kerr was.
J.T. Kerr.
And just to clarify, when you say auditorium, do you mean the rec center with the gym and the meeting room?
So just the gymnasium, because we call
Just
it.
the gymnasium.
Gymnasium. The gymnasium. Because I think the meeting room would be separate,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. Where they vote, off to the side? That's how,
Okay, any discussion? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Ross, appreciate that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
very thoughtful.
He's very thoughtful, and his legacy will move on.
Good man, sure.
All right.
Any other comments? I think Mr. Hinkle had a question that he wanted to pose out there. We can discuss that now if you'd like.
Yes. So at the last council meeting, there was was it item 14? The proposed land swap between Onslow County Schools and Jacksonville, City of Jacksonville for the land part kind of got me confused. Anyway, it involves, for sure,
Woodlands
Park and the ball field, which is, the property belongs to Onslow County Schools, and it's next to Jack Amiette. And I wasn't sure what other property was involved.
It's a little piece over behind the commons, in between the two schools, between the high school and middle school,
Yeah,
right?
so there's some
Some land there.
challenges. The lease for JASA is coming due, and so that was kind of the precipice to kind of review and look at some options. And in that regard, the Parkwood Elementary is adjacent to Woodlands Park where JASA operates. And then we also have the, basically what we're operating on the ball fields, the ball field, I should say, our baseball field that we all are aware of at Jack Amiette is actually school property. So the idea is, or was, depending on how it goes, is we want to clean that piece up, and then we also offered up, the Woodlands property to the school system so they could utilize it for a little bit more versatility with their high school soccer. And then in return, we would get that parcel that is between us and the Commons Elementary School, which is all wooded right now, but it's a good little section, about 7 acres between our property line and then that goes to the school system. So it was a couple of different moving parts. JASA did a great job of coming out and showing their concerns with the issue. Mr. Ray also did a great job of outlining our challenges. At the end of the day, they're extending the lease for JASA, so it kind of gives it a little bit more time to kind of work through it and then just see where else conversations land and discussions go and see what council's direction is. And that's a very broad explanation of what it is. I think it's all still moving parts, I should say. Whether it comes to fruition, it's a big decision that council is going to have to deliberate on, I would say. I feel pretty comfortable with that.
There's many moving parts, but there's some good discussions going on about ways to keep, 700 plus kids from being
I was going to ask you
disenfranchised.
how that affects.
My phrase was, caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
They don't need to be
How does that
caught
affect
between
us?
two systems trying to straighten things out. We can find other ways to straighten things out, I think, but that's me speaking, not the whole council. Cindy Edwards, one vote, but the conversations right now are looking at other options, and I think we're going to produce some good things.
Yeah, but we got 32.4 acres at Woodlands, correct? Something like that.
Total, I believe you're right, but a lot of that's not buildable.
Sure. And then they're offering up, less than 10?
Give or take.
Doesn't seem very balanced.
Location, location, location.
Well, yeah, it's maybe not balanced, but, you know, one of the things we all need to understand is, I don't think the city was trying to get rid of soccer. You know, the soccer associations around Onslow County are all, I believe, are mostly played on school property. So they're not foreign to having agreements with local associations. Our department doesn't really use Woodlands Park because JASA does. We're seeing growth. We talked about this and the last time we were together. Susan's seeing some massive growth in her leagues, in events, and all the things in her world. The Commons is somewhat of a destination for Clover ball fields. And it would make sense if we could build more there, that would make sense. That way, if you have multiple age groups playing, you're still going to one destination. You're not driving all over, going to different destinations. So while land is important, I understand that. It's also, you know, making sure that we're able to grow in a way that's conducive to the public.
The utility of the land.
Utilization is what it came down to.
So the utility is that we would have the value of having it at the Commons, because like he said, we don't do anything with Woodlands Park. It is, I mean, yes, there is a huge benefit and a value to our community, don't get me wrong. It wasn't the intent to not have that to the community. But this department particularly, we don't. I mean, they're used fields for sure. And so I think the idea was work it out so that the high schools have a benefit and JASA has a benefit. They work it out. It's a benefit. It's a win-win for the two of them. And then just take us out of the equation because we don't do anything other than.
The 7 acres at the Commons, is that all buildable?
Yeah, there's a creek that runs through there, but we've had a landscape person already look at it, and we've already worked through some of those. So it's definitely, for the most part, if it's planned correctly, it has a great benefit of it's all buildable. None of it's wetlands, none of it has to be remediated. It's all buildable.
No Homer Spring beetle that we have to protect?
No, I don't think so. We haven't gone very far, but we did at least go through the due diligence to say, what could we do with this property if we had it? What could we add to our system if we had that opportunity? But, you know, so we did do that far. We haven't gone very far past that point, just to see what we could do with that space.
I have a question. I shouldn't, but I will. I'll learn one day to keep my mouth shut.
It's okay.
I did not see the meeting in its entirety.
It's on.
I know.
Yeah.
But my question, did anyone mention, or was there any mention of JASA and the Hammerheads becoming conjoined?
Only in the emails that we got prior to the meeting. At the meeting, there wasn't a lot of discussion about it being, you know, just Jacksonville versus Jacksonville working with the Hammerheads. There seemed to be, I mean, it's all subjective, right? And everybody wants, you know, what's good for kids, but that may look different to different people depending on their involvement, their length of involvement, what they know about the background and the history of everything. So I would say it was probably 10-1. We got 10 people saying JASA's amazing, JASA does a lot for kids, and JASA needs to be allowed to continue what they're doing. And then 1 to every one of us that said, well, since they've been with the Hammerheads, it's not the same as it used to be. And so it was probably 10-1.
And the only reason I say that is if you read the article in the paper, which is horrible, you get entirely the wrong idea. But that's why you have to watch the meeting yourself so you can draw those conclusions. It's not the first time you've been misled by media, and it won't be the last. Yes. The second thing was, did anyone mention that JASA had tried to charge Jacksonville for use of the soccer fields?
There's a lot of misinformation circulating, and I can't say much other than I know where some of it came from and not all of it. And that's one of those issues that's not fully what was happening. That's one person or one group's interpretation of that. And it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to the person who's saying that that's what this, you know, they try to charge us, no, you talked to JASA, and JASA said, no, we just have been paying all of the expense for all of the seed and the maintenance and the aeration and the mowing, and the schools come and use the field and don't contribute at all. We were willing to swap indoor time or other field time or some volunteer time or some supplies. The value is X. We weren't asking for dollars in X. We were just saying we can't continue to always be the only one who puts into these fields if we're not the only one. If they're going to be used on a regular, some support would be good. And this is me relaying, the conversation. A lot of it's, you can hear it on the meeting, you can watch and see, but it's, it's a.
Again, because I didn't see that in the article.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, I didn't see the article, but I'm sure it got a limited focus, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
It's hard.
It's your job to make people want to read what you write, so, I fully understand that, but.
Does the wetlands connect to anything that's buildable on the other side? Because on the right is the wetlands that where the future park's going to go. Because that somewhat connects, right? Down Williamsburg
You're
Parkway.
talking about Williamsburg?
Yeah, Williamsburg Parkway and where
The new
Woodlands is.
stuff, the new land that we bought.
Okay, you're talking about uptown, that side. So there's wetlands out there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I think, and Susan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, of the 400 acres out there, I think it's like 225 to
Right, but doesn't-
175 is the split.
I'm trying in my head to see the map. Because the Woodlands part, Jazza is over
Oh, no, it doesn't cut.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's not connected. No.
Because I'm going down Williamsburg Parkway, and they're not building anything, let me correct myself. They're doing some way station or water.
Lift station back there.
So I know Woodlands is through the woods, past Grandma's house on the right, on the left.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. As a bird flies, it's not far, you're right, but it does not abut the property.
Okay. So the wetlands is down, a little further down that road to the left, past Grandma's house, through the woods, the brook. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I got my values right. Okay.
Did that answer your question, Mr. Springs? Mr. Springs?
I also wondered whether, I thought that most of the land property belonged to the county, not to the school system. So is that something that would have to have run through the county? Or am I
Woodlands
wrong?
Park?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that all the land we were talking about belongs to the city, and we were looking at that being the city part of the swap, but the county has the other pieces.
County schools or county government? Are you just
County schools. Well, actually, no, county government,
County schools is what we were.
because I keep thinking of
Schools
things.
belong to the county,
For
so
example,
doesn't their property belong to the
Schools are
county?
funded by the county, but the property belongs to the school?
That's my understanding. The agreements that would be in place for anybody that utilizes the fields would be with the school system. My understanding is conversations have been with Superintendent Dr. Barnes. So that tells me it's the school system,
Yeah.
but we can clarify that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to scratch that service.
I only say that because I know at one time there was an agreement out at, for lack of anything better, Tabernacle.
Yeah.
And that was county-owned property.
Right.
But again, I apologize for not paying attention a whole lot to actually what happened. I know one time there was a school there. That's where I went to school.
So did I.
Yes. But I was just curious.
Yeah. From my understanding is that since now the county commissioners, authorize the budget for the county schools, and the county school owns the school system owns the school properties and the central office and all of that. So funded by the county, but owned, operated, managed by the school system.
That's interesting. All right, any further discussion? You good?
I'm still confused.
More to come.
I'm sure there
That's
is.
where we are.
More to come. All right, anything else, Ms. Susan?
Not on those, no. We can go into park updates.
All right, nothing on the director's report?
Yes. Michael, do you want to go?
Sure. Well, obviously we met in July, but some of us were here in September, and we talked about some of the things we had done. What we've been doing basically the last 2 months is gearing up for next year. That's really where we're at from a park side of the house. We're working all of our fields to get them actually ready for next year. If you didn't know, I think Susan's league, their softball league, actually just finished 2.5 weeks ago. So that puts us in a window where we have, 2 months, basically, 2, maybe 3 months to get the fields ready. Sounds like a long time, but when you consider the weather and all of that and your ability to get out on those fields when they're wet, it's not that much time. When you add into, we're trying to get restrooms painted, parking lots restriped, and
Decorations up.
Yeah.
well, I'm going to get to that in a minute. And shelter's done from the park side of the house. Those are all things we're trying to do, as well as manage the parks on a daily basis, right? Because nothing ever happens to them daily. As we know, water fountains are always working, right?
Yes.
Come on now. Anyway, but moving into Christmas, just to give you a heads up on some of the things where we're at and what we're doing. So we just finished installing 270 pole ornaments around Jacksonville. That's a lot of pole ornaments. If you ride around and see an ornament not working, give us a moment. What we do is we put them all up. We set them up to work, but that's not gonna, we're not gonna get 270 of them right on the first time around. So give us some time. We ride around at night. We identify which ones are out, and then we go out and we try and address them, at one time. That way we're not going out once a day to do something. We are back by now from the mountains. We left this morning and picked up our Christmas tree. And we'll set that, I would hope, tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday. And you will see soon, we've done some work down at Riverwalk, but we put up over 400,000 lights down there. And why is that important? I'm not going to steal Susan's thunder. I'm going to let her tell you why that's important.
Right now, Susan.
Oh, right now. Okay, well, I guess I'm starting with Winterfest and the tree lighting ceremony. Mark your calendars. We will send you an invite, and hopefully, if you're able to make it out, hopefully it's a beautiful night. Come and see all the wonderful decorations. I went down there today. It looks beautiful. In addition to all the lights, I will give a shout out. The Riverwalk, the park down there looks amazing. The marina, the shelter, the pavilion, the grass that they put down, it really does look very nice. So we're going to utilize more of that space down there for Winterfest. We're super excited about that. We're expanding our footprint. So we're using the tennis courts for ice skating and the ball field for our train rides. And so we're looking forward to, always just kind of improving that event. But Winterfest, December 6th downtown. Tree lighting is that night. Also that weekend is the Artisan Market at the Commons. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we partner up with the Crafters Guild, the Crystal Coast Crafters Guild, and they head up a phenomenal weekend of 70-plus artisans. They're very particular. It needs to be something you've made, something you've crafted. So we really just want to celebrate those folks that are working hard, making really neat things. So feel free to support either one of those events, and we'll run a shuttle on Saturday between the two locations. And that's always really popular. So you can go shop and then go play in the snow, and then go back to shop. So we're excited about that, and we hope to see you there if you're able to make it. Backtracking from that fabulous segue, Michael, everything has moved indoors for us. He indicated that obviously our sports is outside have slowed down, but that doesn't mean basketball hasn't picked up. So we are playing basketball everywhere that we can, any gym. But we have youth basketball in full swing, and everything so far is going really well. We have pretty much all of our coaches lined up. That's probably our last minute challenge of ask your brother, your uncle, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, if anybody wants to coach. We have a lot of kids play basketball, and we're up to, I think, 52 teams right now.
Wow.
So, other than that, basketball is our biggest thing. We will also have our adult social, and that is going to be a Saturday. I'll be happy to send an invite out for that one as well. But it's an opportunity that we just like to give back to our adults, our senior adults. It's exclusive for those folks 50 and older. And that is a beautiful Saturday afternoon at the Commons. And we just want to give them a nice meal and some good fellowship, social activity that just says, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you in our program. We want to celebrate who you are in our community. And we will have a nice Saturday lunch for them. So it's our senior social, and it will fill up very quickly because everybody likes it. And we're excited to be able to do that. And then we'll have all of our summer or our winter, look at that, I'm saying summer, all of our winter activities with the kids. Our Christmas break, our days out, our breakfast with Santa, all of the good things for all of the kids.
The tough thing about winter is what?
Weather?
Summer's right around the
Oh,
corner.
it is.
Summer's going to be here before
Yeah,
we
you
know it.
got spring volleyball.
Yeah. Oof.
It's still summer. It's all summer.
But it's all good. We love it. We're here for all of it, and we're doing everything we can to make it a great year. So happy to do it. Bring in 2026 with a bang.
All right, so that's our parks update and recreation update. Anything further?
No?
All right, let's move right along to our planning advisory board liaison report. Mr. Spring.
We did not have a meeting last time because we had nothing to discuss. I highlighted a couple of things from the development review. One is on Thornwood, which is a Williamsburg Plantation subdivision for 631 acres at the end of Williamsburg Plantation Parkway. It's going to be 185 lots, the first phase. Hall of Fame Car Wash on 2465 Gum Branch Road, and Muscadine Section 1, which is off of Drummer Kellum and Ramsey Road, which is on 68 single-family lots, and a Waffle House at the end of Western Boulevard next to Advanced Auto Parts.
Haven't heard that one.
And that's it.
There is no Costco coming to town, by the way.
No Costco. No Costco.
Still not a Costco.
Just for the record, I know, it was fake news all weekend, but there is no Costco
There's no
coming.
Costco. I just heard that today.
No, no
From the
Costco.
Recreation and
No
Parks.
Costco.
No Costco.
We heard it from the planning director today.
Ryan kept us straight.
Ryan has clarified, no Costco, everybody. We're not kidding.
There's a Sam's Co., but no Costco.
Can we get one?
I mean, we can get whatever wants to come to town, but it's not a Costco anytime soon.
All right, moving right along. Ms. Edwards.
No report. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holidays with family and friends.
All right, we'll move straight along to our parks reports. Mr. Steve. Mr. Michael.
Right. The park looks awesome. Taking the assistant out, and she has looked at everything, and she really likes it.
That's our best critic, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's our best critic.
She sniffs everything, checks it all out, and she approves. But it does, looks really good. Playground gets lots of use, even now with no splash pad. But I mean, when you go there between 4 and when it gets dark, the place is packed. Everybody trying to wear out their kids. It's amazing. They put sod in next to the shelter over by the splash pad. Looks good. Since it rained, it looks even better.
Yep.
There have been a bunch of cross-country meets this fall. I haven't seen any recently. I guess cross-country season is over.
Not done.
Yeah, but it was like a every other week kind of thing.
Good place to run.
Yeah, but one parking lot was full of school buses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got some course set over there, so they don't know where they're going. They were all over there. And Mike's guys took care of some graffiti that was inappropriate in one of the restrooms in like record time.
Lickety split.
Yeah. So can't even tell it was there.
He's very good at I've talked to y'all about this. It's important that you let me know that stuff because hopefully you can see we jump on it. And we want to take care of it as soon as possible.
Send them a picture and go there, and it's like, where'd it go? That's it.
All right, Mr. Scott?
Both parks look good. I don't know if you maintain the fishing rod holders at the Wilson Bay Pier there?
Not really, but tell me about them.
Yeah, they're down to 3, and 2 of them are pointed in odd directions and broken. So if you do maintain them, then they'll need some love.
I think it's a Jacksonville taking care of them.
Yeah, that's what happens on base. Either base takes care of them, or else somebody's going to come out there, clean it all up, and put new rod holders on.
Okay,
And that is all I have.
thank you. Ms. Shalanda?
Both parks, Brook Valley and Northwoods, they both look good. I always wonder about those 2 little springy horses that are close to the road over at Northwoods. But by now, I expect to see them. I don't care if anybody, they're like, they have to stay. They can't. I used to think that we had to take them out, but they have to stay because it's part of Jacksonville, those 2 little springy horses, and I don't think they spring anymore. I think I tried them. but they have to stay.
We'll make sure we check them.
It's part of the park.
Their spring has sprung.
Their spring has
Maybe
sprung.
if the spring has gone bad, yeah, that can happen.
But they have to, but the kids, I mean, I think they just sit on them because they don't spring anymore. But they're like a part of Jacksonville, so
Yes,
they can't leave.
Mr. Ross?
Yeah, the park is great, no problems. Wooten, very clean, restrooms, the water fountain looks great. Looks great, very professional. The only thing I saw was not used to call them in the old days monkey bars, but the artificial. There's a slat that's come loose. It's on the ground.
Surface?
Right. It's just like in the old days, you see the
Like a
bridge with wood going through. It's a slat. I tried to put it back, but it needs too much.
At the playground?
Yeah, a slat. You have 5 slats going from one side to the other. One's come out. It's just one part of it's on the ground.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
besides that, the basketball courts, everything looked really good. We got the springy deals too, and they're in good shape. So
They're working.
Still working, yeah. Springy's still doing good.
Awesome. Mr. Spring?
Sherwood Forest, we have our springy horse too, and it works. I don't know if the water fountains have been turned off because at the Sherwood Park, when I tried to get, at first some came out and then it trickled down to nothing. So it might have been that they've been turned off now because of the weather.
We generally would post that.
But you're also going to, isn't that one slated to be replaced?
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, Sherwood Forest is fine, including the springy horse. Branchwood's great. I did have a question about, as you come into Branchwood Park and you go off to the right, there's some sand, a lot of sand. Was that brought in for a reason?
I'll have to check with Scott. I'm sure it was.
I mean, it's over in the area where the dog, where you got a bench and some places where people can pick up dog stuff.
So generally, if he's got sand over there, and I'm not saying this is it, there's maybe areas where we mow that are bumpy, and we're probably going to try and level those areas out for the spring.
They did that at the Commons too. They filled in some.
It is a
low
slopey
areas.
area.
Yeah.
They filled in some
So,
areas
yeah.
with sand in our place.
Sounds good.
Makes sense.
All right, so for myself, Richard Ray, it looks great, but I'm really sad to say that Blade 1642 was a little bit higher than the one next to it. So please make sure you take care of that. It looks, I think, again, phenomenal job, or both our Recs and our Parks folks do. There's times I don't even contact you because I'm out there and I talk to somebody and the next day it's fixed, or I go by it one day and I see it and I'm like, it's the weekend. and then you go by on Monday and it's already taken care of,
Well, when
so.
we're getting complaints about individual blades of grass, we're doing something right.
Take care of that right away.
We'll get on, we'll be happy to get on that.
And Jack, and the only question, the comment, have we, on the team next year, the Ospreys, when do we start moving that? Are they going to still be here next year? Are they moving along? Okay. All right.
They posted their schedule over the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, their lease is good for several years.
So we're, okay. All right. All right. Anybody else? Any comments?
All right, one
One
city
city
moment. So this is it's been a while, but I just wanted to make you aware of the Rock the Block event we utilized on Friday to celebrate New Bridge Street. This is a beginning shot of the evening as we were getting set up, but we moved our brand new beautiful stage downtown, and Megan did a great job. We had vendors, we worked with local businesses. The idea really was to garner some community efforts with the downtown effort, revitalization, and these are some neat shots, Megan.
Just hold on a minute, go back to that picture.
Yeah.
That's Jacksonville.
I know. Yep.
Look at that, that's pretty cool.
Yep. Here's another really good one. This was
Wow.
as the night started. We avoided the storm off in the distance. We were all keeping an eye on it, but I can just say that it was a phenomenal night. If you weren't there, you probably heard about it afterwards. But we just had such a great community event, and it was just a great feel. Everybody had a great time. Business owners could not have been more pleased. And then the community members that went down and walked the streets, it just felt like a very much homegrown sort of grassroots effort when all the community was out there. It was just really nice. But it was a great event with great entertainment. We had great bands lined up, lots of new vendors. Megan did a great job. A lot of people wanted to be part of this event, and we were able to help them out with that. And we had good weather for the whole night. Look at that. That's a great shot right there. That's crowded.
Hoping that they will look at this for Crime Stoppers next year and do it right there. I mean, that's what we used to do years ago. Crime
National Night
Stoppers
Out?
was, yes, I'm sorry, National Night Out. That's where it used to be, is downtown like that.
Yeah, it used to be down there, and that's been brought up. It did get scheduled for October timeframe at the Commons, but it was a terrible event. It's rain day that day, so they ended up canceling it. But I think everybody supports downtown efforts. I think everybody likes to see it going on. We've had lots of requests to do more of this. We're in discussion. I don't know that we can do it to the request of every week or every month, but we can certainly continue the efforts and support those businesses down there to help them with some of those efforts as well. But great pictures.
This question may be a fly in the ointment, but I know that they were asking for some sort of like Christmas market day down there in December. Is that even feasible?
Well, it's not feasible for us in conjunction with Winterfest. What we said was let's work together so that you know that we are going to be down at Riverwalk Park.
Open
Any
up that
tie-in
same-
we can do, anything we can
Right.
cross-promote, do those sort of things, but we can't dedicate any more folks.
Have you gotten any feedback on the
I don't know if
Like
they're
a-
doing any of the.
same, co-promote kind of thing, or
Yeah, I
or
don't
at least
know.
take advantage of the crowd that's
They're doing a
already
great
there?
job of doing some
Partnerships.
downtown stuff, because
Yeah.
Megan even said Friday they had some stuff going on down there.
Thursday evening, they had a big vendor event.
fun.
That almost got blocked in by the party bus. And it was very well attended. It went from there was nobody downtown to it got dark, and it was packed. So they've definitely got the traction.
Good.
For anything they've
Outstanding.
got.
Which is perfect. That's kind of what we
Yeah,
wanted to
right.
at least demonstrate success, put some exposure on downtown, give some businesses some confidence, and then go from there.
Let them continue to lead forward.
Is there a different noise ordinance for downtown? Or is it citywide?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think so.
I just
Because we had to be done at 9.
Right. Okay.
And Joe Brown and the band came down from New Bern, and they were so good. It was a lot of fun. People were dancing all night long for the band. But again, this was like right before 9 o'clock. We went all night. But anyways, that's just one of our great efforts that we wanted to share. We've had some other great events, and we'll keep going from there.
All right, our next meeting is scheduled for January 26th.
January.
And before we adjourn, we want everyone out there in Jacksonville land to have a very safe Thanksgiving. Please enjoy your family and your friends. And then for the holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and let's knock into the next 2026. Please be safe, keep your fingers in your toes.
Very good.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, let's close it out. Be safe.